Nebraska. My name is Dave Vincent for the WPH Race for 8. This is stop number 4 as we get ready for Denver, Colorado in March. And this is one of those intricate matches right now with Abraham Montijo and John Iglesias, as these guys both vie for ranking points and a chance to go to Denver, Colorado, and ultimately Seattle, Washington. We're going to go down to the court now with Chip Morales, who is our referee. He will be giving us the announcements right now. As Chip Morales is going to get those players onto the court, and we are going to start this 9th place final, and actually it's going to be a very good final, Dave Fink.
Well, I don't know how it's going to be an intricate final, though. I'm trying to figure that out.
Well, I know
what makes this match intricate.
Well, I know Abraham Montijo has stepped up his game as of late. He just defeated an Elite 8 in Eddie Chip Morales, who is now the referee, and now he's going up against a guy who just got invited to Denver, Colorado. And I say it's intricate because in the Montijo camp, he wants to get these wins, and he's already won 9th place one time before, and he wants to do it again. Certainly this would be a great win for him, but he's never been able to defeat Jonathan Iglesias. So already taking down Elite 8 Chip Morales, and if he was able to take down Denver's Elite 8 in Jonathan Iglesias, I'm sure that will be a big thing for his morale.
1 or 2.
Abraham
Numbers
Montijo
1.
wearing the
you want
red
to
shirt.
Start off serving, or do you want to serve second half? Okay.
Dave, Jonathan had to actually be talked into playing in these playoffs. He just said, I'm done with handball for the year. And Aaron Garner told him, no, you got to play, and
yeah, I can use
almost cost Aaron Garner a spot in that Elite 8 in Denver. But I believe, Dave, that they're both going to be invited.
Well, we'll see what Nadi Alvarado says. But Nadi Alvarado very well could be retiring from pro handball, and if so, that will pave the way for Aaron and John to be invited to Denver. And a guy like Abraham Montijo is just a few people away from
if that's what you want. Okay.
saying no, and he doesn't have to go to qualifiers anymore.
All right, I got you guys 2 line judges. One's up here, John, above you. And Andy Net. Okay, let's play ball, guys. Okay, this is for 9th place. We have Jonathan Iglesias from Costa Rica, Miami, New York. He'll be serving to Abe Montijo from Tucson, Arizona. Good luck, guys.
Actually, Abraham from
0
Mexico,
serving
a
0.
little village south of Nogales, just over the border. I'd tell you the name of the town, but I know I'd get it wrong.
Great shot there from Abraham. Left hand, left corner kill. High degree of difficulty there, particularly shooting in front of Jonathan, who's one of the quickest guys on the tour. Jonathan here in the 9th place final by virtue of taking out Shorty Ruiz yesterday and then Aaron Garner this morning. Won both of those matches very easily after losing to Nadi Alvarado in the round of 16 badly.
2-0.
Abraham already on the scoreboard with 2
short
left-hand kills and an ace.
Second.
I see Abraham winning this match.
To me, it's all about how motivated Jonathan will be. Jonathan is very similar to Abraham. They're both scrappy players.
Short.
They make life uncomfortable for their opponents because they just make so many great gets, keep so many rallies alive.
This is a second home for Abraham, so this is kind of a home court. He's played a lot of matches here. Flew up during the summer, stayed for a few weeks.
Point.
So he is admired by the fans here, and that crowd support does help out, Dave. I know you've never had crowd support,
4-0.
But it does if you've ever had it.
I actually did have it once, and I had my entire family out there and some friends, and I turned them all against me within 4 minutes.
Think, Abe? That's what I thought. Play it again. Yeah, I thought he was wrapping it around. 4-0 again.
I mean, Dave, you felt what it was like to be cheered against when you took on one of Alaska's finest on Thursday, but imagine your own mother cheering against you.
Wow.
Yeah.
my mom actually hired another kid to play my part in the home video. So I had a pretty tough childhood.
5 serving 0.
My imaginary friend went across the street and played with the kid over there. It's pretty bad.
First timeout, Iglesias.
Chip Morales is another one of those people that likes to throw that
6-0.
the letter in after the I in Iglesias, Iglesias, but it's actually John Iglesias. And for some reason, there's a lot of people out there that will throw that in there and call it Iglesias. Well, Iglesias just went out the side door as he took a timeout here in Game 1. This is a one-game match to 25, win by 2, and Abraham Montijo has a packed gallery here at the Alaska Club in Midtown, they call it, right across the street from Home Depot. Now, they're not one of the tournament sponsors, but since we're sitting here staring out a window, it's easy to talk about.
Okay, let's resume play. Score is 6 serving 0.
Abraham just completely in control here.
Finish your sentence.
Well, that was the announcing curse, but still hit a good shot. Jonathan able to just get his left hand on it, and that's the shot, Dave, that propelled Jonathan this morning against Aaron Garner to a very easy victory. He hit 8 open stance left paddle kills down the right wall. Told me after the match, I need to get away from that shot. I said, well, you know, that was the reason you beat Aaron so badly today. You hit that shot 8 out of 9 times. You're automatic with it.
You know, it's really funny here. That ball just skidded over there. But what's ironic is that guys like Jonathan Iglesias and oftentimes even Andy Nett, they go into the playoffs and aren't very motivated to try to win those because they don't feel like it's, you know, it makes much difference to them to get that extra 50 or $100 or even, you know, a half a point in the rankings. And in most cases, it really doesn't make a difference. But to the other player that they're playing that's been trying to chase them, it gives them more added confidence. You got a guy like Abe Montijo, and all you see from him is improvement. So he's going up against John Iglesias, and if he gets a win here, that's going to hurt John later when they face each other because Abraham will now think, hey, I deserve this, and I got past a hurdle. And now I'm going to continue to get past this hurdle every time I play you. Do you see that could maybe reason itself in?
Well, I understand what you're saying, but sometimes if you beat a guy and you really know he wasn't giving it his all, it's not going to give you a lot of confidence the next time you play him.
Well, I've heard you say before that, you know, one time, you know, you beat a player on the Pro Tour, and then after that you never lost to him again. And what happens, what is it to say that Abraham beats John Iglesias here and then never loses to him again? This is a guy he's been, you know, he's played 5 or 6 times and had never been able to beat him. And if he does go on here, even if John is not giving his all, it might
changes the dynamic of the rivalry. But Dave, don't forget, and I don't know for sure if this money is on the table, but the tournament host here and the tournament sponsor is actually
supplementing, I think is the word.
Supplementing the prize money for the winners of every match today. A very generous sum of money, and that sum of money, Dave, is almost equal to the prize money. So if these guys are playing for that, that's a lot of reasons to be motivated, a lot of bags of sand.
And hand it to one of the tournament sponsors. I won't name his name, but hand it to him because he's telling both of the players transparently that they're both vying for a chance at an X amount of money. Now, it's not like a tournament sponsor going and telling one person, I'll give you this if you win. He's telling both, and he's paying out, and he's doing it in real crisp $100 bills.
Yeah.
Now, I saw him do a payout earlier today, and I thought, well, that's because, you know, he liked a certain player. No, in the next match he did the same thing, and
I thought the same thing.
And I know for a fact he didn't like the player that won that one.
Okay.
But what a generous offer.
Unforced error there from Abe, who's been really solid with his left hand thus far in the first half here. This is the 9th place final.
Now, a few years back, not to get back on this subject, as we watch this long rally here, but was at an elite camp with Dave Chapman with this tournament sponsor.
Yeah.
And he bet me
3-8.
500 bags of sand that I couldn't beat him 21-0 in a match, and I beat him 21-0, got the 500 bags. He paid it out right there on the spot.
Yeah, he's
so
very
he's a
generous.
man of his word.
The tournament sponsor here, Dave, is considering coming to Tucson for a fun weekend of handball clinics and golf at one of the beautiful resorts in Tucson. And that will be a fundraiser day for the WPH Donor Development Program, which goes to support junior handball and our mission. And Dave, that offer is on the table for anybody listening that would be interested in coming in and getting on the court with one of your favorite pros, getting a chance to spend 2 or 3 days, a couple hours a day on the court, hanging out with your favorite pro, maybe even going out and playing some golf with your favorite pro. And basically your entry into that camp, Dave, will go towards the WPH Donor Development Fund. There's a lot of very exciting things on the horizon.
Abraham Montijo just gets a nice power kill shot right there. About 2 inches high right side. 10-3, Abe leading. Abraham going down, sliding like David Beckham, trying to kick a ball into the goal there, but
3 serving 10.
unable to catch up to it. Abraham not realizing you have to actually have your glove out there, not your feet.
Abraham looks really fresh.
He looks good, about as good as anybody. Then he just makes a complete hand air while I'm talking about him.
But Abraham looks about as fresh and limber as he did in his first round. Obviously his first round, Dave, didn't go as well as he would have liked here against Emmett Pashot. And look at Abraham dive re-kill from the service line.
I'd like to look at a replay from that.
Jonathan hit that kill shot so low and so hard that it only one bounce to the service line, even though it was only 2 inches high. Look at that left-to-left kill from Abraham. That's what you call a kill pass. He squares up his stance nicely to the left side wall.
And let's take a look at that replay where he flips that ball over to John. John does this. Abraham does that. Abe knows he's out of position. That was sort of one of these little kind of modified paddle dives at the last second. Just flipped it up there.
You see, Dave, each one of these guys in that sort of 9 through 12 range and even the 5 through 8 range is lacking just 1 or 2 aspects of their game that separates them from the top 4, the guys that we see winning these events. For Jonathan, Dave, I think it's his serve. He's got tremendous offense with both hands, the ability to take the ball out of the air, but doesn't have a dominating serve that's going to get him a lot of free points or even setups. You see, this is a huge setup here for Abraham, and I don't think that's going to make it.
He's off to your right.
Yeah, but he's off to the right, but he's moving across the court. I'd never understand why a server should be streaking across the court and getting hit by the ball while he's doing it. I mean, what type of target does Abraham have? I mean, even if he's shooting toward the front wall, the guy's streaking in front of him.
Well, it goes back, Dave, to the argument that John Bike resolved in Idaho 2011 at race stop number 1. You can't show somebody the shot and then take it away. So you can't hang on the right side of the court and then at the last minute move to the left and take away that shot. And that's what you see a lot. And guys say, hey, you had the whole side of the court, but really you didn't.
Yeah, you had the whole side of the court at the point of impact, but at the time that Abraham was taking the shot, John was off to the right, and then he swept across the middle.
John texting me, Dave, today, which is very rare. It might have been a mass text, but wanted me to correct that it wasn't a technical against Andy Nett in Seattle. It was points for Luis Moreno. So for every...
For what, for being late?
Yes, for being late after the tiebreaker. So the tiebreaker didn't start at 0 to -1, but it actually started at 1-0. Because Andy Nett was anywhere from 5 seconds to 60 seconds late.
That was not a mass text.
11-7.
Okay.
That was a...
Feel pretty good about that, actually.
Yeah, I know that would make your day.
Yeah.
I figured winning some bags of sand from the tournament sponsor probably made your day, but knowing that John Bike actually singled you out. This is a huge setup here. Abraham's able to break behind John and still see that ball.
I believe Aaron Garner has earned an automatic invite and accepted one in less tournaments than anybody in the history of the race.
I think that's between Aaron and Charlie Shanks, but yeah, you're right. I think Charlie still had to qualify at least one tournament.
Charlie qualified at the Plummer event in race stop number 1. Then there was a U.S. Open where he also did well. The next stop,
he was invited.
7 serving 12.
Tucson.
No.
It would have been Plummer, U.S. Open, and then Tucson of 2011.
And I believe he was invited to Tucson.
8 serving 12.
That's right.
Okay. So Aaron Garner now tied with Charles as the quickest to earn an invite. Of course, Dave, Paul Brady would have earned an invite by winning the U.S. Open.
So he would have never had to go to a qualifier.
Actually, I take that back, Dave. He would not have earned an invite there. He would have been number 1 in the race standings, but not in the power standings, where he would have been outside the top 10.
That would have been strange. But
well,
number 1 in the race, but have to qualify on the actual power rankings.
Well, not really. I mean,
you have
Matt Kuchar's going to win the golf tournament this week, but he's not number 1 in the world. He's just number 1 that week.
True, but what I'm saying is, in the race standings themselves, he'd be number 1. But then, when it comes to the actual power rankings, he still have to qualify.
Right.
It would seem kind of somewhat strange.
20 seconds.
The number 1 person that in the race total would actually have to qualify, but that's a moot point because it's not going to happen. Coming up after this match will be Dave Fink versus Emmett Peixote for 5th place. Now, Dave, I know you're completely injured right now, and I don't even understand how you're sitting here.
It's not easy.
But
play.
Are you going to play that match?
9 serving 12.
I'm going to go sit in the steam for about 40 minutes. Try and get rid of some of this lactic acid.
Ten serving 12.
The score here is 10-12 with a nice comeback from John Iglesias, who just backs right into Abraham Montijo on that serve.
Abraham gives him a little round of applause there. That was a tremendous shot.
I like that defensive shot, but unfortunately for Abraham, John Iglesias does that.
Rollout, Dave. One of the first we've seen that was completely flat here in this entire weekend.
12.
Iglesias is in fuego.
Short.
Jonathan had no reaction to that flat roll. I hope we can see a replay of that
Both agree.
at our next timeout.
Second serve.
And Dave, that was on the heels of another nearly flat rollout on a left-hand scoop paddle. Almost double faults. Oh, Jonathan now completely, Dave, like you said, on fire. He's finding the bottom board from everywhere with both hands. Abraham trying to cool off Jonathan without taking a timeout.
13 serving 12. Short. Second.
And Dave, I really haven't seen any of these pro players defend that hard two-wall serve with their left hand well consistently. That serve really, it eats you up. It either eats you up with a lot of pace or it hits that crack and stays so low that you can't really do anything with it.
Well, that hard two-wall serve, Dave, you do it as good as anybody I've ever seen, and you do it as a second serve, or at least you did in the last match against Andy Nett. And you got points both times, or last 2 times that you used it. Why wouldn't you just use that as a first serve and just try to stick with it? Has that also hurt your back with that torque?
No, my serve is more of a Z serve. I'm talking about that two-wall diamond serve. My serve is actually a Z that comes into the corner. I feel like I get more offensive opportunities, or at least against Andy today, when I was serving straight down the left. Once I got into a rhythm, I felt like I was getting better opportunities. And if I left that Z serve short, he was putting it away, or if it wasn't just perfect, he was hitting a really nice wraparound and put me on defense. He did make a couple of errors there late, and I think that's what you were referring to. But Dave, here it's John Iglesias, who was trailing 12-7, now scoring 8 straight points to go into halftime. And Jonathan, Dave, has struggled a little bit emotionally here this week. you know, he doesn't know, does he want to play, does he not want to play? I mean, this guy was almost on a plane yesterday afternoon. Here he is in the final, very in a good position, Dave, to take 9th place should he keep up this level of play.
Well, he's certainly playing inspired after I said that Abraham Montijo was you know, more into this match than he was, and it was almost as if he heard that and decided to turn it around. I believe it's something like a 10-0 run at this moment from John Iglesias, who's playing very inspired. Now, Abraham seems to be quite frustrated. The last timeout that he took, Dave, he threw his head, you know, his eye guards off on the ground. He went outside. He was mad at himself. There during the timeout, he went over and shook John's hand, but then immediately threw his eye guards back down again. You can see that he has the fire in him, so he's not going to give up. Abraham, that's one thing about him, is that he has, you know, that fire in his belly. So certainly he's not going to give up, but he will put on a show here in the second half.
Well, Abraham's much more of a steady player. He's steadier than most in that he's not going to hit a lot of flat rollouts, but he's not going to make a lot of mistakes either. Jonathan's game is very hot and cold. Right now he's on fire. I mean, we saw him hit 4 or 5 kill shots that were 2 inches higher or lower, including that flat rollout for the 12th point. And there's really not much anyone can do when Jonathan is playing this kind of ball. But for Abraham, he has to continue to stay steady, hope that Jonathan cools off a little bit, and put him in tougher positions a little bit deeper in the court if he can, try and take him out of that front court and try and get some offensive opportunities of his own.
15-12 is the score. Jonathan Iglesias goes into this halftime with that lead. We'll be back in 1 minute, and we might actually just stay here as opposed to going to that commercial break, because I can see John warming up on that court, Dave, and referee doesn't really have a stopwatch, so kind of afraid to go to that break and then come back
30
with the players
seconds
into the court here. And you can see 30 seconds called, so I guess I made a good call. It was John Iglesias trailing fairly big here, 12-5 at one point. Now he's up 15-12, just on a huge 10-point run against Abraham Montijo. It really looked early that Abraham had more fire and more shot-making ability, but now it's John Iglesias.
Both have 2 timeouts remaining.
Who's playing the
Abe, you'll start off the second half.
playing the match better. Listen for the referee here.
Abe does. You serve first to start off the match. All right, let's play ball.
Abraham Montijo puts on his new gloves.
12 serving 15.
And that's important for Abraham to come out and get that first point after the halftime, now at 13-15. I'm sure his
13 serving 15.
and his confidence are growing.
Short.
Thought Abe would appeal that, but he doesn't.
Second. Serving 13.
Wow, nice get from Abraham. Great serve from John Iglesias. That's a great inside-out kill shot right there from Abraham Montijo into the right corner.
Yeah, go ahead.
Abraham's so kind on the court, he has to ask the referee, can I please tie my shoe? That's just an equipment timeout. No big deal.
13 serving 15. Short.
It's a huge hook from Abraham, just over or under, I should say, the short
Second.
line. Abraham was fooled. He just put his hand on the ball and ends up being a point, and he just shakes his head upset with himself, but really John Iglesias put a hook on his ball that fooled Montijo.
14 serving 15.
To 15 now is the score, as you heard the referee say the same. That's a great 2-all pass inside out from Abraham Montijo. Now tied at 15.
15-15.
It seems like John is going to have to call a timeout here, and he does.
It's your second timeout, John. 1 minute.
And John's not calling that timeout just so he can get a breath. He's calling that to try to break up some momentum. He's now seen 4 straight points from Abraham Montijo after going into halftime 15-12. Coming out, Abe makes quick order of John and starts putting down some of his kill shot attempts. John Iglesias just stays on that court. He's not in here
30 seconds.
calling that timeout because he's tired. This is the race for 8, Anchorage, Alaska, where it virtually snowed nonstop for about 72 straight hours after our film crew and all the pro players got up here to Anchorage.
15.
And
Ready to go?
if you're not familiar, we're at 0 elevation.
Okay, resume and play. 16 serving 15.
It's a strange sight to see waves cracking against the shore and snow hitting those waves. And then it stopped snowing. The sun came out. And instead of getting warm, it was negative 15 degrees Celsius at 10 o'clock this morning. And it's already here at 4:26 p.m. It's dark outside. And there is a side out. The first day that we landed, there was a meteorite that landed in Russia, injuring 150 people.
15,
and it was just
17.
a few miles away from Alaska. I say few miles, it was just over more than 100, but we're not very far from Russia. Less than 50 miles separates Russia and Alaska from one point to the next. I'm sure we're much further away.
15-17.
John Iglesias mad at himself, but he executed that shot perfectly fine. He just thinks that he should have taken care of it a couple shots earlier.
16-17.
We're going to 25. John Iglesias plays this underhand
Together
paddle
at
game.
17.
A lot of his shots are power paddles.
Hold on. I'm waiting for him to get set. Second serve.
Big setup. That was 2 bounces.
Need a towel?
No call. I thought I saw 2 easy bounces there, but there's no call and no argument from anybody. I'm surprised Abraham isn't asking. He's looking around, but he's not asking for an appeal. And if we can take a look at that on an instant replay, I think you might be able to see what I'm seeing. I thought I would swear that ball bounced twice.
18-17.
Now Abraham asking what the score is, but at the end there, John Iglesias dives in. Perhaps he got it on 1 bounce. Looked like 2 from here. No appeal. Let's see. Right before
18 serving 17.
John dives for this ball, Abraham kills it. Very hard to see from that angle, but it looked like John might have picked it up. And there he dives again. Wow, nice shot right there from John. Crowd's going to like that. He's going to win this rally too. And he hand airs Abraham Montijo. That was an interesting shot as John Iglesias slips down to the ground And while on the ground, Abraham Montijo powers the ball right in his face. And what does John do? He gets up and backhands it to the front wall, wins the rally. And Abraham knew it right before he hit it that he has to win this rally.
How's your shirt, John? All right.
I'd take a replay anytime if you wanted to play one.
Yep. I'm sorry.
As I talk in real time to our director, Linda Manning. She's got the best hair in the club today. Green scrunchie.
19 serving 17.
Let's take a look at that. And that's the hand air right at the beginning of that replay is right where Jonathan used that backhand. We'll try to remember that
20 serving 17.
later. 20-17, John Iglesias serving here. For those that are wondering, Dave Fink is getting prepared for his 5th place match versus Emmett Peixote.
20 serving 17.
Which kicks off in about 30 minutes. So he left the booth. And now at 21-17 is Iglesias. Montijo calling a timeout, and we will
second timeout, Abe, 1 minute.
We'll be back in 60 seconds. Stay here at racefor8.com.
$21. 10 seconds. Check the ball, John. Okay, let's resume play. 21 serving 17.
Score is 21-17. After this rally ends, we'll take a quick look at that shot that Abraham got. Nice dig right there from John Iglesias. John has to stay down. Abe goes for it. John gets it again with another backhand. Unbelievable. Twice within 2 rallies. John might win this one as well. I don't think I've ever seen that in my life, and it's now happened within a few points of each other. Iglesias gets another dive, stays down. Oh, referee's going to call an avoidable, didn't though. Both players hitting the deck. John Iglesias hits that ball around the revolving door to try to get Abraham in the back court. Abe dives in and misses the ball, and the crowd's going to stand up and cheer on this one. That whole rally is worth racking up and playing later. We have a replay. We will show you one from the previous backhand. Let's go to that replay.
Nice rally, gentlemen. Good hustle.
Let's watch this. Abraham flips that ball back. This replay brought to you by Simple Green.
Check up a little bit in front of the line where John dove to the right.
Here's where the backhand comes into play. I believe the second backhanded play, and that's the one that was a dagger to Abraham Montijo about 5 minutes ago before that timeout, and then the second one happened right after the timeout. I believe we have that one as well.
$22 serving 17.
We're going to 25.
Short.
The winner wins 9th place. In Tucson, Arizona, Abraham Montijo defeated Andy Nett and Chip Morales to win 9th place, which was a big victory for him. And now he finds himself trying to get it again, but he's down to John Iglesias here. Amazing handball, though.
23-17.
Very proud of what Abraham Montijo has done, and unfortunately for him, he's finding himself match point down.
One left.
John Iglesias serving, and he's going to try to ice John Iglesias. Iglesias from Costa Rica, actually living in Costa Rica now, from New York, Chicago, Florida. As Abraham takes that timeout. Let's take a look at that other replay, and this one is exciting just because so many different things happen in one rally. John Iglesias was fooled right there. There's John on the ground. He stays down. Backhand, unbelievable shot right there from John Iglesias. That was just remarkable. And I agree with our director who told me that the second dive backhand with the one with the left was better than that first one with the right.
20 seconds.
And this play
Ready?
is not over. Watch what happens here.
Okay, let's resume play. 24, serving 17.
We have to go back live here because this is game point. 24-17, John Iglesias serving here against Abraham Montijo. And John is able to get to it, and this will be replayed.
Yeah. He was screened, but I was waiting to see if he got a hand on it.
We're on the wrong screen here.
24-17.
Stay right here. And there's a side out.
17, serving 24.
Abraham had John leaning to the right. John dives in, unable to get it, and there's a point for Montijo, now 18-24.
18, serving 24. Short. Second. Hold it. $18, serving 24. $19, serving 24. Short. Second.
Abraham's in the running for one of the most improved players on this year's Race for 8 Tour. Certainly played inspired handball. Unfortunately for him, he's down by 5, but anything can happen here. And there's another point. Now at 20-24.
20, serving 24.
And this gallery is packed. Watching a 9th place final here on Saturday Night Live. Montijo just keeping the pressure up front here. Now John has control. And that's what happens when you have court control. You're able to take care of balls like that. He took one step in and powered Abraham out of the front court and then boxed him out and shot the ball and killed it, got it into
20.
The server's box for game and match. And he might have got right there. Nice little flick from Montijo. Now Abraham's in pole position. Both of these guys not playing sloppy handball at all. Very defensive, but this could be it for John. He goes hard and he puts it away and he defeats Abraham Montijo 25-20. That is game
nice
and match.
playing, guys.
These guys put on a show here, and I know they're both tired. Congratulations to John Iglesias. He wins 9th place. We're going to take a break. We have the 5th place match between David Fink and Emmett Peixote coming up. Stick around. More handball action at Race for 8 in Alaska at Anchorage in just a bit. Stick with us, racefor8.com.
million places you'd never consider texting. So why would you do it while driving? Leave risky driving to the professionals. Stop the texts, and together we can stop the wrecks.
Are you getting this, honey?
Oh, prime time. We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
Come on, watch this guy.
Oh, backwards.
Oh, don't. Oh.
It went into Bob and Carol's yard. Oh, no? Okay,
Yeah.
here it comes.
Oh, Mom!
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
All right, let's see what you can do. Let's go.
They might surprise you. Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
My name is Bruce Fabrizio. In 1975, I invented Simple Green based on 3 principles. It had to be safer to use, it had to work, and it had to be completely made in America. From generation to generation, Simple Green has been cleaning everything from car engines and tools to kitchen counters and floors. No matter what you clean, indoors or outdoors, clean it with non-toxic, biodegradable Simple Green.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.